welcome back to the Fashion Nap. This week I am with stylist, art director, Magda Kaczmarska.
Hi, hello.
Hi, I feel like you're such a mysterious person.
Someone thought that they were like, I just felt like you might have been an absolute bitch.
No.
They were like, I just thought you were like a really sassy bitch because you're like quite mysterious online. And I was like, that makes me laugh. Like, I wish, but sadly not.
Well, I feel like Scorpio women get that a lot, actually.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I probably just talk about how I'm a Scorpio and everyone thinks, oh my gosh, she's probably a massive bitch.
I don't think you come off as a bitch, but
Nice.
I just thought, oh wow, this girl has like, I think you do like some of the best fashion content of everyone that I follow because your posts are so creative. Like, you always post things. I'm like, how did she think of all this stuff? And you post so much. But it was only when I thought we're going to do this interview that I was like, there's actually no information about you. And then I was like, yeah, actually, you're very mysterious. Other than like the looks, which are quite storytelling. So I feel like you kind of get a vibe of like what you're into, but you don't really put like what you're up to.
I think because social media became my work, I was like, okay, social media is no longer like social for me. It's like a portfolio. Like I see it as a portfolio of a way showcasing work and doing cool stuff. And I always hate it when if I do like a partnership brand, they're like, oh, we'd love you to talk about yourself and stuff. And I'm like, oh my god, have you seen my social media? Like, no one knows anything about me and I don't want them to. I just like to keep the two lives separate. It's kind of like going into work and coming home. That's how I see it. Also, when I have been personal, no one gives a shit. Like, no one wants to know about me. And that's fine. I love that. Thank you.
Please care enough to watch this.
Yeah, please do.
Now I feel extra honoured that you agreed to answer all my questions.
Oh, I love doing interviews. I mean, you could probably dig for a few past interviews and get to know me a little bit, but I just don't show on social media. I just don't need to.
Well, yeah, you don't need to. It's not relevant to what you're doing.
Exactly.
Like, it's all about the looks. I feel like I'm the opposite. I hate doing any still imagery. If a brand's like, can you talk? I'm like, thank God. Because I know that I can make it good.
It's so funny that how like opposite I am. If someone asks me to talk in the camera, I'm like, what? Even like a voiceover, I'm like, why?
But you tell stories so well with clothes. So we're going to get into this. So I guess the beginning is a great place to start. What's your earliest fashion memory?
It's probably from my gran. My gran was the one who like got me interested in like art and fashion and everything to do with that. And she showed me all her like John Lewis patterns from the 60s. And they were just like the cutest little dresses ever. And my gran used to make all her own clothes. I don't think she kept any of it. I think she got rid of so much of it. But in the pictures that she showed me, they looked amazing. There was this like skater sort of like polka dot dress that just would be so cool right now, and back then it was as well. And she like had a matching headscarf with it as well. Oh, it was just beautiful. And I think that kind of just sparked, I think I love my gran so much and we're so close. So I think her love for the arts and fashion and that kind of stuff, just I wanted to take it on. And yeah, that kind of just opened up. My dream was to be a fashion designer at the very beginning, since I was like 8 years old or something. Then I studied fashion design and I was like, fuck this, I can't sew.
I think when you're young, you think that's kind of like the only fashion job that exists. I
mean, fashion marketing would have been way better for me. But yeah, it's actually, I think now people are realising that there's way more. But back then, I think like the way to learn about fashion was through fashion design. And because of that, you just immediately thought, I need to be a designer. And I think because I'm an artist as well, like I did a lot of painting and sketching, I just assumed the two had to be like fashion designer. That was like my end goal. But yeah, scrap that. When I was 12 or 13, we made my very first dress together. And it was like a Union Jack. It was horrific, awful. But I loved it. And it was just like a big old Union Jack dress that I wore for my birthday.
Spice up your life.
I know. You know what? I didn't even listen to Spice Girls.
You were just in tune with the zeitgeist.
I was just pure like emo back then, but for some reason I was like, one day I want a Union Jack dress. I know, patriotic of me, would never do that now.
Jerry Halliwell was great marketing for the Union Jack for like a couple of years.
Yeah.
And then it went back to being like, I'm not wearing
like, I'm not very proud of being British anymore. Like, I don't really want to be like telling everyone that I'm British. It's same with like the American flag. If people are wearing the American flag, I'm like...
Yeah, I just tried to commission from this knitwear designer. You know, like the Ralph Lauren American flag jumper.
Oh, yeah.
My family's from St. Kitts, so I want like the petition version.
Oh,
because I love the placement.
Cool.
of like a square there, but I just don't want to wear that flag.
I've been doing the same Polish flag, like Nav, the graffiti artist. He made me like a Poland football t-shirt with like his graffiti and stuff on it. Because I was like, I don't want the England one. Can you make me a Poland one? And he was like, yeah, sure. And I was like, yay.
That's
and then
so
they got kicked out pretty early.
The fashion design flops was not for you. How did you discover styling?
I went into loads of different directions after university. I decided that I hated fashion, went to art, then after university went back to fashion. And I was like, what do I want to do? I really didn't know. But I started off journalism because I did a bit at university and I love writing. Then I went to marketing. Just didn't find it very creative. And then I got a job at Porter in production. And I think that's when my world opened up to like this whole new side of fashion, of like photo shoots and photographers and styling and set design and all this like stuff like never was exposed to. You know what? I actually kind of hate styling. I love styling myself. And I love doing editorials, but generally styling stresses me out. But not the actual like putting a thing together. It's like all the admin around styling that is stressful. When clothes get damaged, when you're working with emerging designers and something goes wrong with the clothing and you're just like responsible, even though it's not your fault, but everything like lands on you. Returns. I have a mental block with the post office, so doing returns is just like...
Yeah.
But generally styling, like in the art of styling, I do love it.
Every time something becomes a job, it just becomes like, why have you just added all this boring stuff around my passion? In order to make anything like a career, it just translates to like more boring version of what you want to do.
Do you know what I found recently though? It's so hard to actually get clothes. Like to pull clothes now, to pull the vision that you have is just becoming more and more difficult, especially when you're using designers. And I don't know if it's because of this like oversaturation of social media and just like the demand for like PR and like people dressing things and people like just wearing things for social content. It's just got like way more difficult to pull things. Social media's become so big and everyone can be on it, and some people have just gone fucking viral so quickly. And I've been doing it for like 5 years now, like working my way, and it's like I haven't got like a crazy big following compared to a lot of people who literally like that have suddenly got like hundreds of thousands of followers going into the millions, and that is just becoming like a way bigger landscape. And those are people who people want to dress, and then you know, people like me, I guess, kind of become like less and less of a priority.
Yeah, I guess it depends on like who you're reaching out to. You can see like when you look at who people dress, sometimes it's more like about the character. A lot of times it's a numbers game. It's kind of like the vibe
or who you know.
Yeah. It's hard to gauge it. But I can imagine if you're trying to pull like full looks to do like a proper full editorial or something, it must be absolute chaos. You have such a distinct look. I feel like you've probably been through a few fashion phases to get there. Can we discuss some of them? And from what you said earlier, I feel like we're gonna have some things in common.
I mean, got it all. I used to only wear black.
Same.
Like only and you just look at my like social media now, and can you imagine? Like, there's so much colour there, and I'm like, I would have made myself sick looking at my social media like 15 years ago.
Right. I have a controversial fashion opinion because I think I spent about like 6 or 7 years only wearing black and maybe red. I actually don't think black suits everybody.
No.
I don't think it suits me. I actually think I was doing myself a disservice because they say black and white suits everyone. No, I don't think it does.
When people like ask me to wear black for something, or I'm wearing black for like social media content, I'm like, this doesn't work. It doesn't look good on the camera. It doesn't photograph well on the phone. It's like you really, if you're wearing black for anything, you need like an amazing photographer and lighting and all that to actually make the black pop and look good. It's such a hard colour to wear. I mean, I always think about the image when I'm wearing something. Like my day-to-day wear is so like, this is what I wear, like t-shirt, jeans. But when it comes to styling, I can't do styling for everyday wear. I'm doing styling for like the image and the outcome in an editorial and like how it works after that. And black is so difficult. I mean, just last year's fashion weeks, it was dire. I think because everyone was like, no one was making money, and they were like, we just need to make money. So everyone just wore black. Everything was black. And I was like, if I see one more black slip dress on the runway, I'm like leaving fashion week. So the emo phase was kind of the biggest one. That lasted for ages. I think I was very, very shy, massive introvert. I wasn't very popular. And it just felt like the fashion to fit my vibe and my like personality. And I think like that's also why I've just so opened up to colours, because I'm like just become so much like, the happier I am, the more colourful I dress, I think. And it is like, I think I've generally, my fashion has like matched my mood a lot. When I started getting like more into boys and like parties and drinking and that kind of stuff, God, it was like my slightly slutty era.
We all had that.
We all had the push-up bra showing leopard print with like a tank top and just shoving everything in your bra. I think my emo phase went into my skater phase. Then I went into like a bit more of a like, I'm just gonna dress for the male gaze phase. So glad I don't dress like that anymore. It just makes me anxious. Why would you dress for the male gaze? Men are scary. And then I guess when social media started becoming more of a thing for me and started posting, and like emerging designers like just started, like, it was during COVID, and just suddenly all these emerging designers just came out of nowhere, and it was just like this creative like buzz, and all these cool clothes were just like, I was like, wow, okay, like tights during lockdown. I mean, I couldn't afford to buy like loads of really cool clothes, but tights were just the most affordable, easiest way to make an outfit really fun. Like, I just wear something really simple and just have these crazy like Ashley Williams tights or something, and people just lapped it up. It's ever evolving. I don't agree with the whole like, you find your style and you stick with it. Like, I really like, and it's so easy to, especially on social media, like you find your thing and you're like, okay, I'm never gonna like move away from it. And that's what I did for a while. I just didn't show my face, and I was like, I'm gonna be that like mysterious faceless girl on social media, and actually I didn't want to be that person. And when I started showing my face, no one cared. Like, they were like, cool.
It's
like,
so funny. Think decisions like that feel so big to you are literally just like nothing.
They are really,
it's like, just do what you want.
I'm kind of like, what I've learned is that I've consistently keep like limiting myself. I'm constantly like, I don't really want to do that, I want to do that. And I'm like, well, why am I saying no to things when maybe in 5 years time, like, that's what I want to do? I'm just like, I'm not gonna, like, my agent told me this recently. I got put up for a job to basically do red carpet styling, and then I was like, oh my god, I don't want to do red carpet styling. Never cared for like celebrity styling, never wanted to do that. So I was like, I just don't want to be put up for those jobs. And he was like, I wouldn't like say no to it, because there could be like a really cool opportunity where you do it and you love it. So like, don't limit yourself.
You just don't know. You could discover something that you love doing, or a secret talent, or I just think having as many experiences as you can is like the fab way.
You don't have to do it, but being open to the thing, and like, not, if you're like, this isn't right for me now, don't say that it's like not right for you ever. I think it's like limiting, because I know that what I'm doing now in 5 years time is gonna be very different. Like, I'm gonna be in a very different place. I'm probably gonna start wanting to have a family, more stability. And there's just like, I don't know what that looks like, but I'm like...
So you're saying, if we see you on the red carpet in 5 years, don't say anything.
Pregnant with some like following some random celebrity like styling, and be like...
in their black gown.
Yeah.
What's inspiring you right now?
I think like more like geometric shapes of what I'm wearing. I feel like I really want to be wearing like stiffer, more like crazy shaped clothes. That's what I imagine. I also, right now, I'm in wedding fever.
Oh my god, what is the look going to be for this?
Oh my god. I'm actually this evening going to have my first brief with my designer, which is Ellie Misner.
Yeah. I love her.
It's going to be like all immersion designers that I've been working with quite a lot. So I'm going to like keep the other two secret.
Oh my god, it's already going to be so good.
I'm really excited. I'm like right now in like super wedding fever. So everything that's inspired me is basically white, which is like...
So you're gonna wear white?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna keep but it's gonna be very like interesting. Gonna be I think I'm gonna go semi-classic with the dress, like the main dress, but I'm wearing 3 outfits.
Of course.
But in terms of, I guess, up and coming trends, I'm calming down a bit on sportswear. And I don't know why.
Maybe the wedding fever.
I think the wedding fever. I'm very like Hollywood glam actually. I'm loving big fluffy coats, anything fluffy, anything furry, anything with feathers on it. I'm like I just want it. There's these like really beautiful feathered boots, heeled boots that just look like, oh my god, what is that like chicken called? From.
My knowledge of chicken breeds is actually not
No,
that great.
But like Hollywood glam, I think, is kind of the vibe that I'm like really wanting to enter a bit. I don't know if my followers like it that much. There's a few images that I've done that's that vibe, and they've been a bit like engagement's been.
Yeah, but a new audience will come. If
That's
you keep
true.
doing it, you'll attract different
That's
types of
true.
people, which I think is fine. You have to just stick with it. I think that's one thing
Yeah.
about social media is like, you can't, when things flop, you can't like bend to it.
Yeah.
Because then you're just going to
It's
lose
really
your
hard,
own perspective.
though. It's
And
so
it's so hard because you just feel like, oh, my work is like not good anymore and no one likes it. But you have to just keep forcing it down people's necks and then they'll like it.
I need to like shove things. I need to just be. I have like about 100 posts that I've like just not decided to do anything with. Like you say, I post a lot. I've got so much in the archive that I've worked really hard behind, and I posted it. It does terribly in the first 5 minutes, and I'm like, this is too good to do terribly. Like I'm gonna archive it and save it for like when it's gonna do well. And then I just never use it. I've got like so many more underwater stuff.
Oh my, okay. Can we just fast forward to that? Because I have like so many questions about this. So
yeah,
I'm sure if you're watching this, you already know. But just in case you just stumbled upon this video, one of my like 2 people that watches my videos on YouTube, Magda is always underwater, and you do these pictures and some videos like reels where you're like submerged in a swimming pool in like the head to toe regalia, accessories, handbag, like full look down. First of all, are you really good at swimming?
Yeah, you know what? I'm pretty good at swimming.
I can't swim underwater, so already like failing the American Next Top Model challenge, failing the Magda challenge, like it's not gonna happen. You're swimming in like stilettos sometimes and like high boots
really
and
hard.
like
That's really hard. Well, like so my fiance surfs. We always, whenever we go on holiday, we're always like thinking about like water and like I love sea life. I literally have a whale here. I'm obsessed with. I just love I hate being cold though. That's the only thing. So I love the water, but I hate getting into the water.
Did you see there was this video? I can't remember who the interview was for, but it was Cindy Crawford, and she was talking about like the most stupid things she's been asked to do on photo shoots and like how she gets out of it. And she was saying she was on one shoot and she was in like a very like I think it was a Laia, like in a Laia very tight dress and like super high heels, and they asked her to get on someone's back while they were surfing and like but don't mess up her hair and all of this. You would have been like, cool.
I would have been like, we'll make it work.
That would have been your idea.
I know that,
but she said
I probably would have been the creative director behind that shoot.
But she said the way she used to get out of these like requests would be like, oh, could you show me? And then they would realise like, no, I can't, because she's like a genius, right? She's like a chemical engineer or something. But yeah, that made me think of you actually. I was like, I feel like you would have been like
I would have been the person behind it, and I would have shown them.
I was expecting to come to your place and there's going to be a pool outside, because this is my next question.
Wait, no, but there is a paddling pool like in the corner.
Do you use that? Because that's not very deep, no? Because I was like, she must have a pool, and if she doesn't, you must like every time you go away just like bank content.
Yeah.
Is that how you do it?
I work really hard when I'm on holiday. I always like expense my holidays, because when I go on holiday I work the hardest. Like I don't work that well being at home. I'm like, okay, I need to book a holiday so I can get to work, because I get so creative when I'm like in a new space and a new landscape. And when it's warm, because I'm like so like I get so cold so easily. Getting into a pool when it's cold is the hardest thing ever. Especially like
fully dressed also. Like in... Because, so yeah, these are my theories. It was either she has a pool or you work your ass off on holiday. So my third theory, I've got so many theories about your post. I was like, maybe you just like check yourself into like spas all the time. But then I'm like, would the staff allow that? Is it like against health and safety regulations? I'm just so
I'm
like,
too anxious
how
to
are
do
you
that.
doing this? Like...
So I usually get like, I try and find like cheap villas with pools, and then I'll just like book the whole place. Although well, I say the book the whole place. I've done that twice. Which one was in Greece, which is that I'm guessing the underwater video of me a different outfit. I actually shot that at night, because when the lights came on in the pool, it was so, you could actually see the colours way better, and there was a glass window that was like my fiance was shooting it through, so he didn't even need to get in the water.
This is so cool.
And that's why that video was so strong. I've tried to do it again and it's been murky. It's just not quite the same because I've shot it underwater.
Well, you're not going to go to like Hampstead Heath Pond and try and do it, are you? It's like
no
black water.
I know, it's actually like they are really hard to shoot with, like when you think about colours. Also like thinking about the way the clothes look. There was like 3 outfits that I didn't actually use because they just did not look strong.
I think when I see your images, I can see how much work is put into them. And I think where there's so many fashion creators and there are a lot of people that execute really well a very simple image and it does really well and it is really strong and the look is there. But you can see that, okay, like this person's just at home and they just have a really great knack for building a look and that's kind of where it ends. But the way you do things is like... It's like a full editorial production. It could be for social media or it could be you could put it to a magazine. It's that level.
Yeah.
And I think what I was saying of the comparison of like people that are just shooting maybe like in-house, which is no shade because this is what I do. It's so commendable because you don't need to do it. But you do, and it must be for the love of it. And
I just love... I'm so inspired by Editorial and I'm so anal about stuff. Like that's why my fiance has to shoot things because I'm allowed to shout at him. That's why. But I get frustrated that I can't. I wish I could clone myself and be behind the camera as well as in front of the camera because I know exactly how I would want to pose and I know exactly how I would want to shoot it. For a few years, I literally only shot everything on my own with a clicker, and now because it's more about the space around me. I'm needing a lot more help. I'm also don't really like using the phone anymore. I way prefer using like cameras to shoot things, and I think that it's getting harder and harder to produce work because my ideas are just getting like bigger, and I suddenly really love locations, and I'm like, I can't afford to be going on holiday and doing this. Now got a dog, so I need to look after him. So I can't keep going away and doing these like crazy ideas. But that's also why when I go away, I just like bank a shit ton of content. Like I've got so much coming out from Morocco that I'm just like sitting on. And
like I genuinely get excited to see your posts because it is like looking at they're like a magazine. There's a few creators that I like that I can see. It's just like there's just so much that goes into it.
There's so much thought that goes into it, and sometimes I'm like, wait, why am I doing this? Like, what am I doing? What is the end goal here? I mean, my dream would just to be an art director somewhere, and either for like a magazine or for a brand, and just like kind of, it would be lovely to have budgets behind some of my ideas and actually be able to like fully flesh them out without having to like DIY them. Yeah. Wouldn't everyone love that?
Yeah, I think people would be stupid not to hire you.
I mean, you know what? I think this year I've taken a real like backseat because we got a puppy and I didn't realise how much work that would be. But next year I'm going to really start pushing out the styling, the art direction and start focusing on that. I think I tried to do a whole year of like, I was like, I'm going to reach 200k and I'm going to get all these followers and do all this viral stuff. And actually I was like, why did I like make that a goal? What is that going to really get me to where I want to be? Yeah. And to go viral, it's the stuff that I do is like not always that viral friendly and doesn't always engage that well and can be a bit niche or a bit too, I don't know, in its own like.
It's one of those things that once it happens to you, you're like, oh, I don't know if I want to do that again.
I mean, when I was doing the like under the legs with like my fiance,
I love those.
I've seen big brands. There's Axel Arigato copied it, named the series like because it was called a love language. They did the exact same thing. They called it a love language. Put it on my story. Good. I was like, please take it down. They didn't. They sent me an AI mood board. Like an AI mood, like a mood board that they just clearly being like, oh, but this is our inspiration. And
it's not like the name is like linked specifically to like legs, shoes, table. Like
exactly.
It's like it fits what it is.
A love language is like a very. It's not the most. It's not an obvious thing to call it.
Do you feel like social media is oversaturated? Because when I asked this question to Ayo, Fashion Roadman, we kind of felt like it's not. But I guess we're in a similar sector of the internet where it's about a lot of perspectives and opinions. So we felt like it's not at all, and it's kind of like people say that to scare you. But then when I was writing questions for you, I was like, I wonder if you feel like it is, because it's a very different kettle of fish. So I'm really intrigued to hear your opinion. You kind of touched on it earlier, so I think I know it. Yeah. But
I mean, 100% yes for me. I think it's different for opinions because you can't. I mean, you can copy opinion, but I mean, copying opinion is a bit different.
Well, it's just agreeing.
It's just agreeing. Yeah, exactly.
You copies my opinion.
Yeah, and then you like if you're talking, you can say everything's like said in a different way. I think for me, because everything's so visual, stuff like I do something, it does well, and like suddenly it just gets copied.
Yeah.
And luckily, like some like things like the underwater stuff is really hard to copy, and I think I'm like, it's kind of got my own little space there. The under the table like legs video that I did, that got copied quite a lot. And I was all on this kind of like raging, like, please, like, you know, like if you're copying my work, please just like tag me, share, like, because it's a concept that like I really do take time to think about these and like take time to make them, and I get so proud of them. I get so proud of a concept. And it also, this is my work, so it's what pays the bills. And if brands are copying it and not like not paying me or like getting me to like work with them for it, I'm like, well, you just monetized off of my work, but I've gained nothing from it. So that sense, I'm just like, something I have a real pet peeve on TikTok, and I blame TikTok wholly for it, is this copycat culture, but it's fine to copy.
Yeah.
Like TikTok normalized copying and made it okay. And I feel like it's just, for me, it's just not. I don't like it.
Yeah, they're not thinking about the person they're copying. They just think, oh, that's a video that I just saw. And it's like, but where did the video come from?
Yeah, like who
Especially
started
with
it?
your stuff that's so creative. Yeah, I agree with you there, because it's like, oh, it's not copying, I'm just doing this TikTok trend.
Yeah, this is like a TikTok trend, and it's like, well, it's not really a trend because not that many people are doing it. You've just seen a video that you like and you just replicate it. And there was just, it was before TikTok came around, like there wasn't really that culture, and if people were copying each other, it was kind of like, why are you copying me? Like, bro, like sit in your own space, or like leave me alone. But on TikTok now, it's kind of like you complain about it, and it's almost like, well, that's just social media now. And it's like, oh, I know, but it's just so annoying that like, and you see people doing it and who get so many more, when people get more views and likes, more follows, and they're gaining way more attraction to something that you've done. I think that's also really hard. This is kind of my career, and sadly, like the more followers I get, that's how I get work. And if those concepts are just being like repeated and oversaturated, and suddenly the brands aren't coming to me, it's just like, oh, it gets frustrating. And I do have a bit of a chip on my shoulder for it, and I know I need to get over it and just like move on to the next thing and just like evolve from it.
There are many themes, I feel like, in the looks you build, like you can kind of recognize your style, but one of them that we need to talk about is the slogan t-shirt. How did your love affair with the slogan t-shirt begin?
This is really like terrible of me, but people just really engaged with it really well.
Fair enough.
I was getting loads of likes from it, and I was like, I guess it's like really, like if I'm wearing a relatable slogan and like wearing it in a cool way, people just love it. They ate it up, and I was like, cool, I'm just gonna carry on doing this because it does well on social media. So I think like I also just quite like a reaction, like even in real life, like I wear a funny t-shirt and then people are like, and I'm like, oh yeah. For my birthday, I wore a t-shirt that said like, be nice, it's my fucking birthday. And then like the amount of people saying happy birthday to me, I was like, thank you. It was like, I don't really like the attention, but also kind of like, it's quite nice. But yeah, sadly, it's actually not a very long-winded answer.
I thought it was going to be some tall tale.
No.
Well, it's just like another way of speaking without speaking.
I think also my posts lacked, like sometimes like they seem too serious, and I think I wanted to take myself out and like not be taken too seriously, but I don't like talking and I don't like showing that personality. So I think that it was like a fun way to like show a bit of like humor and being like making like a funny t-shirt into something a bit more like higher fashion.
Do you make your own t-shirts?
No, but everyone says I should.
No, I was just wondering if you did or not, because some of them, they feel like very specific, but I guess if you're building a look around the t-shirt, then of course it's going to feel specific. Yeah. But you should make your own. I've made my own before. I'm like, I need a t-shirt that says this. Like, I just think it's fun. Yeah,
I think because like what I'm also like very thinking about people who are following me and like what they, if I'm wearing something, they want to wear the same thing. Yeah. I'm like, I want it to be something that people can buy. So I like source something. And I also like to support people. I've got something exciting coming up next year, and there's going to be like some merch surrounding it, and I will be making t-shirts. There'll be like probably some slogan t-shirts in there, but I don't know how much it will relate to the thing I'm like publishing. But also I think what I find is when I see a piece of clothing, I actually also like form ideas around that piece of clothing. So it kind of goes that way rather than the other way.
Hi.
Cheeky boy.
Well, I guess, yeah, a slogan is quite a good, like, stimulus.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
okay,
I love crying, or like the one that says crying in the club, and I'm like, I need to wear this to the club, and like, you know, at the very end, I was just like, okay, put splash like water like down my face, drag my like makeup down, and started walking around, and people were like, oh, that's so funny.
It's very rare that you actually like see somebody like doing a literal embodiment of a slogan t-shirt. Normally people wear them to like be ironic and funny, but when you actually like give full context to it, it takes on a life of its own.
I love being literal. I love it. I think like kind of, I don't know, I just like if something says I love crying, like why aren't I crying? For the t-shirt.
It reminds me of like, you know, when you wear a band shirt, like, do you even listen to the music? You're like, I love crying. Well, do you even cry? Show me one tear. Name one song.
Maybe that should be like, no, that's actually quite like a fun concept for like a dump. Me wearing like a Ramones t-shirt, being like, and then suddenly just me just literally like quick listening to Ramones. I just love like building. I love building a concept, and even if it's just for like a silly dump, so much thought goes into it. Where it's like most people don't think there's much into a dump, but I'm like, I overthink it so much. I wish I could like step back a bit and think less, but that's just not how it works.
What is the most difficult and the most rewarding part of your job?
The most difficult is ignoring, like, I think I obviously touched on it before, but I think engagement still has me like in a bit of a like chokehold where I'm like, oh, if this isn't doing well, or oh, I had this, I want to get to this stage of my like content creation, and I think that it's so easy to get obsessed with it, and I'm not as obsessed with it as I used to be, but it still like holds me back and makes me a bit anxious, and I think that anxiety of posting on social media and that being like your bread and butter is my biggest setback, because I'm just like, you know, I'm just gonna like not do it today, I've got a post, but I'll just do it tomorrow, and I keep pushing it, and I'm like, just fucking post if it does well, whatever, like hide your likes or something. But then I'm like, I get so like hot and cold of it. Sorry, my dog is trying to get in because this is his sleeping sofa. So I think like general anxiety, I think posting anxiety, and I think I am my own worst enemy with stuff. Like, I'll be like, no, you can't do that, you're not able to do that. With styling, there's probably things in the like past that I've turned down because I've just been like, I can't do it, and it's like, well,
push
why don't you try? Like limiting myself. I think that's something I struggle with. But then the most positive is like, I think just talking, like, you get stuck in a bubble, like you're on your own on your phone, like looking at your social media, being like, oh my god, and you're so in your own bubble about it, and then I meet someone like you and you're saying that these amazing things about my work that I just don't think about because I'm just like my worst critic. And that response and people like coming up to you and talking about your work and seeing you, like seeing the impact you have on the individual, like I forget it so much. I spend so much time on my own, like I said, I'm in my own little bubble, and then being taken outside of that bubble, I'm like, wow, okay, like I'm actually doing something like that's making people think, that's hopefully like inspiring people. That and the cute gifts.
I mean, it helps.
It really helps, doesn't it? It's like, come on. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of an unboxing video. It's quite interesting seeing what people get and stuff, isn't it? And then when you're that person who's getting something really cool and you're like, what is my life? Only once I got gifted a Loewe bag, and I was just like, it was an out-of-body experience. I was like, how did I get to this point of my life? Like, I just could never have imagined it. So that's like also that recognition from bigger brands too. I think getting invited to the Jacquemus show as well. I think that's something that I would like never ever forget. And I think those moments as well, you're just like, what the fuck have I done to get here? And it's like, it feels like really rewarding.
It's good that you acknowledge that as well.
Yeah.
Like, if you're your own worst critic, but you also have to like have those milestones. I've got a scrapbook and I've kept everything.
Really?
From since I started. Like, the
so
first
cute.
time a brand sent me like the card, I've got so many of them. Like, you do feel like shit. Even just seeing the book is like very thick with like so many things that I was worth saving. I thought, you're gonna want to see this at some point.
Yeah, you're gonna want to remember that and be like, that was really cool.
And I think it's important. You are in a bubble, and not only you're just on your phone by yourself, you're also looking at yourself the whole time.
Yeah,
it does feel like you could be the only person that exists, you, and just a bunch of like random people telling you they either like or hate what you're doing. So yeah, I think it is important to step outside and actually look at the bigger picture and like all the amazing opportunities you get, and like it is like kind of like a dream position to be in, really. But it is stressful, which no one wants to hear. For all jobs in the world, this is one that nobody wants to hear you complain about.
Yeah, I know. Everyone's like, oh my god, you're getting free stuff, you get paid really well, stop complaining. And I'm like, you know what, you're right, I shouldn't complain. But I think the toll it has had on my mental health and my anxiety has been a struggle. Like, that's something I've really had to like lock down and like figure out. And that's why I got a dog. That's why like I've kept my private life really off social media. It's like protect that. Because like if I opened up that world and suddenly like let everyone in and like was vlogging and showing what my day-to-day and like all this stuff, I don't think I could cope.
I don't know how people do it. It's good to have a separation. You're right.
It's nice. I have my lovely little life outside of like the social media, and like, you know, I'm getting married next year. Like I said, I've got a dog.
Well, I'm glad you're sharing some of the looks of your wedding at least.
Say that Decory is doing my shoes as well. He's, I mean,
exciting.
That's an obvious one because I feel like through and through, I've like just worn Decory.
Yeah.
Since he started, actually, I was the very first person that he sent a pair of shoes to like try out his brand.
What is your end goal in terms of career?
End goal. Yeah, I just want to be an art director. I also think like, I think maybe I just don't see myself being freelance forever. I think I need stability. Like that's something that scares me, is not having that. So maybe in like 5 to 10 years time, like buckling down somewhere and being like an art director there for, I don't know, maybe I'm not shooting for the stars basically, but I would love to, art direction. I mean, my dream when I was younger